Let's do it. Well, all right. Thank you guys for coming in. I think we'll have people trickling in. That's okay though. We'll go ahead and get started. My name's Chris Metry with PWP Live Pro Wrestling. You might have checked us out in the Expo Hall. We're going to be doing live matches all weekend long. A little more about that later. Let's get to the reason you're all here. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Booker T.
What up, guys? Speaking of independent wrestling, I got a small independent wrestling company down in Texas as well. We stream every Sunday on Fight TV. It's called Reality of Wrestling. Download the Fight TV app. Do it now. I do it for you.
You can't argue with that. So in my opinion, this man is sort of the definition of someone who has done it all. So there's all kinds of stuff we can talk about. I'm not really going to talk a whole lot. I know you all got some good questions, so we'll get to that real quick. But you know, we can talk about his early upbringings in the wrestling business. We can talk about his youth prior to that. We can talk about some troubled times in his past that he was able to overcome. Really inspirational redemption story. Everybody knows everything he's done in his wrestling career. We can talk about all of that. He now is, like he mentioned, he's a wrestling promoter, he's a trainer, he's a podcaster, he's an award-winning author. On that note, I gotta have you sign my copy of your book in a little bit here. So yeah, should we dive right in?
As far as pushing me solo, I don't think it was anybody's idea. I just think it was something that was inevitable. I always wanted to be a singles wrestler, but I remember back in the day, I was GI Pro and my brother was the Super Collider. And we went to Texas because my brother was getting a tryout. And Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert was there. God rest his soul. He said, who's that guy? He goes, that's my brother. He's like, no, man, I'm looking for a tag team. You know what I mean? You know, so becoming a tag team for me was awesome. You know, but you know, wrestling with guys like the Nasty Boys. You know, wrestling with guys like the Steiner Brothers. You know, Stevie and Luger. You know, Buck Bagwell and what's the other guy named? What was his partner? Scotty Riggs. No one remembers
the American males. That's it.
But those days, I don't think it was anyone who wanted to push me as a singles, but I think they saw the writing on the wall because guys like Ric Flair, he requested to wrestle me when I was a young kid. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, I got a chance to wrestle him, even when I was still a tag wrestler. Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, all of these guys, they requested to wrestle me, at one point in time in my career. And I really didn't know why, but it let me know that I was on the right track to become something special in the business. And I had a lot of great guys helping me along the way.
Cool. Hey, actually, I've got a follow-up Harlem Heat question.
Go ahead.
Maybe a lot of people don't remember, but early on as Harlem Heat in WCW, before you were called Booker and Stevie, you were called Kane and Cold.
Yeah.
Where did those names come from? And
I don't know.
That was their idea?
That was their idea.
And then why did it change? You started going to Booker and Stevie.
Well, because I didn't know if I was Kane or Cold half the time in interviews. Seriously. And we talked to the powers that be, and we said, hey man, is it all right if we just be Booker T and Stevie Ray? The name that people had known us, as the Ebony Experience for the last couple of years, wrestling on ESPN. Booker T is my real name. My brother's name is Lash. I thought that would have been a better name than Stevie Ray, Booker T and Lash. But Stevie Ray turned out to be pretty good too. Yeah, but that's what happened with that. I'm glad we became Booker T and Stevie Ray.
Right. So the Big Red Machine was not the first Kane in the wrestling business. It was either you or Stevie. We don't know which one.
Exactly. The guy that I would want to get in the ring with right now is the guy that I think that's doing amazing, wonderful things over this last year, and that's Seth Rollins. He's going to be having a huge match tomorrow night. At Extreme Rules with Dolph Ziggler. That's the match, right?
Yeah, 30-minute Iron Man.
I'm gonna tell you, Iron Man Classic. That's a match that I had a chance to, be a part of in my career. And, it tests the endurance, first and foremost, but it tests, the mind to go out and deliver for you guys over a 30-minute period of that thrill ride, man, giving you guys that moment. And that's what Seth Rollins lately, he has been such a great storyteller. I was just talking on my radio show. I say, man, Seth Rollins, he's become such a great storyteller. He should start writing romance novels. That's how good he is. So Seth Rollins would be the guy. Oh man, the social media has totally changed the wrestling world upside down. Especially, the spoilers, of course, that's the first. But it do make the talent have to go out there and, try to figure out how to be different than the next guy and come up. And that's what a lot of times, they don't understand. What's old really could be new again. The young guys go out and look at their matches. And the thing is, I'm a fan of the young guys. I don't want to seem like some old fuddy-duddy up here that, don't like the way the young guys perform or anything like that. But I watch the young guys go out and perform, and they do it at such a high level, and they do it at such a dangerous high level. I just don't think that's what professional wrestling is. I think professional wrestling will and always will be storytelling. Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet, Family Opera. The fans want to be able to, give you that encore. They want you to come out for that curtain call. They want you to go out there and have that 5-star match. But they want you to be able to do it, for a long time. And I just want these young guys to know that don't think that because you got 100 people following you, young wrestlers that want to be wrestlers, because you got 100 followers, you got to go out there and do something stupid to get 101 followers. Go out there and think about your craft. Think about what it's going to take to be at that next level. Think about as far as your body go, think about if I could stand next to, the Randy Orton, the Seth Rollins, the top wrestler of the world. The social media I wouldn't say it's a small bubble or anything like that, but I do think it's something that's going to affect wrestling for many, many years to come. It's only going to get bigger, but I just think the guys need to know how to use it a whole lot better, just like I do with my reality of wrestling. I got a bunch of young kids wrestling for me, and I tell them, hey, make sure you don't post something stupid that could affect your career before you ever get started. Make sure you don't put some photos on there, that perhaps, you get pulled over and go to jail. First thing the cop's going to do is pull your Facebook up and see what you're doing on there. Know what social media is about, because it can work for you and it can work against you at the same time.
Definitely, and I'm glad you said what you said about wrestling being storytelling, because a lot of people seem confused about why guests like yourself come to something like this, a so-called comic convention. Why is there wrestling here? Why are there wrestling guests here? What those people I think are missing is that, like a comic book, like a movie, like a TV show, like all the things that are being represented here, those are all telling stories. So is what wrestlers do. So is what we're doing in the ring. So I think wrestling does fit in with something.
It parallels the same lines. I never played sports. So a lot of guys look at me and say, "Man, Booker T, man, let's get that athletic, man." I used to watch it. I never, did karate or anything like that. But you watch a lot of my moves. I was like, Bruce Lee. I could be, one of those guys, but when I was a kid coming up, I watched the Steiner Brothers productions, and man, I do the Tiger Style, the Crane, the Cobra, the Toad, Centipede. I'm serious. I mean, Iron Fist. I do all of these styles in my head, and the people to go out and perform them and emulate, all of the great movies that I had. So King Booker was no more than, one of the, Chinese bosses, and everybody always wondered, man, how did the boss become the boss? And then, you go and try to touch him, and boom, he nailed you. You don't even see it coming. You realize that's why he's the boss. So movies, play a big role in professional wrestling. It's a storyline. It's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And if you don't have those components like Infinity Wars, I'm still hot about it. The ending. I'm still. You guys hot? Huh? Are you guys hot about it? That's the same thing. You see a match like that, you're gonna be doing the same exact thing.
I walked out of Infinity Wars and I couldn't say a word for like.
See, exactly my point. Exactly my point. What got me into wrestling was a young kid following his big brother around since he can remember. You know, my brother and I, we slept in the same bed probably the first 13 years of my life, and everywhere my brother went, I wanted to go. My brother was, my mentor. He was my hero, and he always wanted to be a professional wrestler when we were kids. We used to work out together back in the gym, and him and I wanted to be like him so much. We got weight belts on. Before we were ever wrestlers, he had Mr. Ebony 1 on his belt, and I had Mr. Ebony 2 on mine. He knew a guy in 1990, opened a wrestling school, Ivan Putski. He went to the school and he asked me, hey man, you want to try this out? And a guy that I was working for, he sponsored me to go to school, and the rest is pretty much history. But just following my brother, I always tell people, I'm living my brother's dream. If it wasn't for my brother, Big Stevie Ray, who told me, I was better than everyone, I would not be where I am today, honestly, truly. Throughout every time I had a contract coming up in WCW, I would always get a call or something, Back then we didn't have emails, did we? No, we didn't.
Maybe a few people do.
Oh man, I know I don't look that old. Let's keep that straight. But I would always get a call. Somebody would let me know something. Hey, the door is always open for you to come to WWF back then. And I was having fun. A lot of guys, the Radicals, they had left, and all those guys. When all those guys left, Eddie and Ray and all those guys left, I was like, man. People was like, man, you need to leave too, man. But you need to go. You need to go there. And I was like, man, well, all those guys just left, and I think that left a spot open for me. So I'm staying right here, and I'm gonna take that spot and see where it takes me. When the time came for me to actually go to WWE, I think the time was fitting. The time was right. I always say I would have retired at WCW if they would still be around today. I think I would have retired there because I was happy. I was a kid from the street. I was a kid that was a part of something. I was making money. And I think, I had no ego to want to be the best. I remember a guy by the name of, what was his name? I can't think of it right now. One of the guys worked with WCW, and he said, well, one day you're going to be the world champion. And it's like, man, no way, because that wasn't on my radar, being the world champion. I talk to young guys all the time. I do seminars, and they're working for us, just say, for instance, PWP. And this happened to happen. But I asked them, I say, hey man, what's your inspiration? They say, the WWE. I want to be the WWE. When the answer should have been, I want to be the best here on the card tonight in PWP, and I want you to watch me go out here and do something special. That's what the thing truly is really all about. My favorite match ever that I've watched or been a part of.
Both. Give us both.
Both, okay, yeah. Best match, the match that motivated me to actually, want to do great things in professional wrestling was WrestleMania 3, Steamboat Savage. Those guys, for me, it was an amazing, contest between two guys. And the contest wasn't between those guys as far as, how athletic they were, if they was going to beat each other, but how well they can entertain the fans. I learned so much from that, just watching that match as far as what I needed to do to become a great worker, and that's go out and entertain, at the highest degree. But as far as matches that put me on the map, was the Best of 7 series back in WCW with Chris Benoit. God bless him and his family is soul these days. But I tell you, those matches were matches that I didn't even know I had in me until it actually happened in the ring. Those are matches that put me in position to be world champion later on in my life and made people look at me and say, man, Booker T could be the guy that could perhaps save WCW. I couldn't do that though. But I had a hell of a ride, man. You know, I've had my share of injuries. You know, I haven't had any major surgeries in my 28 years. And, but I had a back injury that was really bad, you know, back in the day, and I don't even know what it was. You know, a slip disc maybe, or some pinched nerve. I was laid up for like 2 months. I had to have 2 epidurals. Epidural is what pregnant women get for pain and whatnot. And I had to have 2 of those. The first one didn't work and the second one did. And I didn't think I was ever going to wrestle again. But the man upstairs, you know, put me back on track. Spinneroonie, scissor kick, everything came back. But I've been blessed. And I think it's due to, I didn't play any sports when I was a kid or anything like that other than street ball and pickup games and stuff in the park. But I never played any organized sports, so my body didn't have any injury when I got into business at 25 years old. So I think that's what, you know, catapulted me to get to a certain level and wrestling without getting beat up, or because most guys play some form of sports, football, you know, high school, college. Some of them play pro, and then they get into wrestling. Their bodies have so much mileage on it, you know, the tread on the tires, man, you know, wearing thin, you know. So I got kind of lucky on that. You know, being a babyface and being a heel, it's just two different dynamics. You know, both of them are gratifying in so many different ways because we're really out there to entertain the fan, you know, to the utmost. The babyface got to do the most work. That's the hardest part about being the babyface. You know, being a heel, just put it on cruise control and be able to keep up with the babyface when it's time to. But, you know, for me, being a babyface, I had great times, you know, when I had the flat top fade and winning the world championship from Jeff Jarrett. But I don't think it was a better time for me than being a great heel as King Booker, the most revered, most, you know, king of all times, you know, the most noble of all times. You know? So you get so much out of different characters, but more importantly, you just want to tap into whatever character it is, you know what I mean? You want to be that character. You want to know exactly, if you're the bad guy, go out there and be the bad guy in the ring each and every night. Let each and every fan know when you step in the ring, hey, you're supposed to boo me tonight, all right? I'm the bad guy. He's the good guy. He's the cowboy. I'm the Indian. No offense.
The outlaw. Let's say the outlaw.
Spinneroonie, man. I used to be a break dancer back in the day. Pop locker, you know. They used to call me the Papa Long Kid, Creeper, you know. I had a few different names. But I was bad. I was real bad. But I used to, you know, contest guys in the park on the weekends and stuff like that, the skating ring. And I was just in practice one day, wrestling practice, and I did it, and it was kind of cool. And I remember my debut match in the Global Wrestling Federation in Texas, Dallas, Texas. And it was crazy. It was crazy. It was only like about 50 people in there. Don't take no offense to this or anything, guys. It was only like about 50 to 75 people in there, maybe close to 100 people. Most of them was Caucasian. Okay. No, seriously. And they did not like the Ebony experience. And we were the baby faces. We were wrestling a couple guys. My brother-in-law was taping it. This is how I know how powerful something like this would be, you know. Seriously. My brother-in-law was taping it. And I swear, that day, we got called every day in the book under the sun. They did not want to see the Ebony experience in that ring working in Dallas, Texas. And I live in Houston. And I did the Spinneroonie. And one of the guys that didn't like us, he go, oh my God, what was that? And the security guy made my brother-in-law cut the camera off because you didn't supposed to be filming, because it was a TV taping. And I realized the power of the spinneroonie. Now, that 75 to 100 people literally grew to 3,000 people in that arena every Friday night. And all of them was coming to see the Ebony Experience go out and perform. When we had to leave that arena to go to Atlanta, Georgia, when we started with the WCW, that 75, they was there and they cried, man, because they did not want to see us go. That's the power of the spinneroonie right there. It can change your people.
That's amazing.
Oh man, I've been like a fly on the wall in so many instances. And the Shockmaster debut, I can only say it wasn't the Shockmaster's fault. Okay? You know, it's an infamous moment in the living history, like a lot of my moments. But literally, we rehearsed that thing before we did it. And but before the actual time when the Shockmaster went out, they didn't want the wall to fall over because it was a fake wall. They put a board down at the bottom of it. And they never told the Shockmaster he had that big stormtrooper helmet on. He couldn't see anything. As soon as he bust through, boom, you know what I mean? And it was a moment to where I wanted to laugh, but I was a green kid, I was a rookie, I was on stage with Sid Vicious, and I was in shock, just like the world. But behind the scenes, man, we laughed, and we still laugh to this day. And took the Shockmaster and made him Uncle Fred a few weeks later. The rest is history. Being Alyssa Milano, yeah, I put her down. I put it down on charms, yeah. That was so cool, you know, being able to be a part of something like that. And I remember Alyssa Milano, you know, we did that scene and whatnot, you know, I was talking to her in the back, she was like, man, you know, you really got good timing, you know, you should pursue acting, you know, it's something that you should get into, you know, and I thanked her for it, you know. Acting is not something that I really want to be a part of. I've been in front of the television screen my whole life. I like being behind the scenes now, but that was really, really, you know, one of my awesome highlights of my career. Yeah. My first wrestling match, you know, it was with a guy who used to work in the WWF back in the day, and he never won a match on television. His name was Dusty Wolf, and sometimes they used to call him Dale Wolf. And I think he even had another name. I can't think of it right now. But Dusty Wolf, he came to Houston. I was working with a group that I first, the Western Wrestling Alliance, Ivan Plesky's group. And I knew I didn't know what I was a green kid. I knew I didn't know what I was doing. And I knew I had watched Dusty Wolf on WWE TV, WWF back then, many, many times. And I knew this guy was smart enough to know this guy was smarter than I was if he was on WWF television and worked The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and so many, many more. I asked Dusty, I said, Dusty, you know, if you could just guide me through this match, you know, take me through it, you know, make me look good as best you can, I'd appreciate it. He said, kid, no problem. And he was doing the job for me. And this kid, Dusty went out there and made this kid look better than he ever could in a match, you know. And I realized at that point, you know, if you could just listen, you know, sometimes, you know, certain guys can make you look better than you could ever think about making yourself look. As well as you young wrestlers, you'll learn from that going into the next match as far as, you know, having a blueprint of what to go out there and do. I learned that from, you know, guys like Steamboat. I wrestled Ricky Steamboat overseas in Germany, and we wrestled for like 25 minutes, and I didn't say one word. He just chopped me up and beat me up and told me exactly what I needed to do, and I just had to listen and perform. And I realized, man, I look good out here. You know, so just take those lessons, man. That'll take you a long way. You know, I've never been a big ribber. I hate guys that rib. First and foremost. No, but you know, one of the ribs that got me one time was we was on a flight. We was on our way to Germany. And the Nasty Boys, they always were rib guys. They would always do something stupid. You know, they was always looking to, you know, get a laugh. And they didn't care, they just popped themselves. You know, and for me, I've always been a guy, you know, on the road, I always dressed in a suit, tie, slacks, everywhere I go. You know, I always had to look really, really dapper and cool. Better than all the wrestlers. I always wanted to look like an office guy. You know, and the guys pretty much hated me for it. But we were on the flight, and I had on this cool shirt and tie with a vest. And I fell asleep on the flight, and I woke up, and I had a piece of cheese in this side of my vest and a piece of cheese in this side. And I unbuttoned my vest and had 2 big round spots on my shirt from the cheese, you know, going through. And I was really, really hot about it. And then I look at my nails, and all of my fingernails are painted red, okay? And I got whipped cream on my head, okay? And I'm pissed off to the utmost. And I remember the director named Don Sandifer was sitting right behind me, you know, and I turned to Don Sandifer and I said, man, you need to do something about this ish, okay? Because somebody's gonna end up getting hurt, you know, screwing around like this. And he looks at me and he goes, and all of his fingers is painted red too. But the women, what they're doing right now, it's unquestionably, they have broken the stereotype of the divas, panties and bras matches. You know, when you think about Charlotte Flair, you don't think about her beauty, when she's a beautiful woman. You think about how great she is in the ring, and for me, I think, you know, the mold was broken when Charlotte Flair walked, as well as Sasha Banks and so many other young women. You know, Ember Moon, one of mine. Yeah, that's my little girl out there doing her thing. But you got to think about it 2 ways too. You know, so many people see that as negative, but so many people want to see the Attitude Era come back. You cannot have it both ways, okay? So, but the nostalgia of the Godfather and the women, that's nostalgia. That's all it was. It was just nostalgia. I don't think it was to offend anyone or anything like that, but I just think it wouldn't have been right for him to come out without the ladies. That's what I'm gonna call them.
It's all nostalgia.
The toughest opponent that I've faced probably would be the Big Show. You know, being the biggest man in all professional wrestling, along with John Cena in the Champion of Champions match that I won. ESPN covering WWE. Oh man, it's awesome to finally make it to that platform. But as far as heels, baby faces, changing back and forth, as far as if the crowd have anything to do with that. You know, me personally, in my day, the crowd didn't have anything to do with it. I knew my role as a heel. I always say, the NWO, as great as they was, as great as that idea was, whoever slipped on a banana peel and thought of it, it almost ruined the wrestling business. It almost killed the wrestling business because, it always been the bad guys were the bad guys. The good guys were the good guys. When the bad guys want to be the good guys, it can screw up the aura of the show, the dichotomy of what's supposed to be going on as far as the storyline, the beginning, middle, and the end. It can become blurred, it can become gray, and that's something that you never want in professional wrestling. The bad guy got to know his role when he goes out, that he's not out there to shake hands and kiss babies. He's out there to tear signs up and tell that old lady to sit down and shut up. You know what I mean? The baby faces can go out there and do all the other work. And then therefore in this match, everyone knows their role. The crowd knows exactly when they're supposed to cheer. They know when they're supposed to boo. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I wasn't talking to anybody in specific. Well, you know, I'm a big fan of the show, first and foremost, movie trivia and stuff like that. People ask me, hey man, you should be a contestant on the Schmodown. And I'm like, man, those guys, those professional geeks. These guys don't have any, I mean, they got so much, you know, useless knowledge in their head that, I mean, only place they can use it is on the Schmodown. No way I'm gonna be a part of it. But the way I got hooked up with them was I promote their stuff and they promote my stuff. And I think, you know, Schmodown and reality of wrestling, the tag team that can't lose, you know, that's what it's all about, really, you know. If you got something out there that, you know, that you can get it out there and it's good, hey, let's try to get it out there. If we can work together and get it out there, hey, let's work together and get it out there. Right now, I always tell people, man, you know, when there's a whole pie, you know, if you get your slice, you should be happy. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we do. We just make the pie and take our slice and keep on rolling. Are they still who I speak with? I don't hang out single, okay? I got a couple of friends in professional wrestling. But for me, it's never been about coming to work to make friends. I mean, I love all the guys. We're brothers. But as far as breaking bread and stuff like that, it's a different story. It's always been about my family. It's always been about going to work. It's never been a party on the road or anything like that. Me and my wife have been together 14 years now. And she's my second wife. And we're like, you know, connected at the hip. And I remember my first wife, you know, she used to think when I left the house that I was going to party and hang out. And, you know, it was, you know, leaving the house, time to, you know, go have a good time. And she just did not realize what I was going through and, you know, how hard it really was and how lonely on the road it really, honestly, truly is. And to stay focused, you need a partner that's going to be in your corner. And she asked me, I asked her, I said, where do you think I go when I leave the house on Friday and don't come back until Tuesday and can barely roll out of bed? And she said, honestly, I said, yes. She said, I don't know where you go. I went straight to the lawyer and got divorced. Because I need somebody in my corner that knows what I feel like and what my pain is, you know. So it's always been real to me to go out and work, come home, work, do the job, go back home, take care of my family. You know, I've met a few friends along the way, but I can't really say that, you know, I got a whole bunch of friends in wrestling that we kick it and hang out. I'll see them at the Hall of Fame induction. That's good enough for me once a year. You know, life has been a bed of roses, man, for me. I lost my father when I was 10 months old. Lost my mother when I was 13. I went to prison when I was 21. I've had the greatest life in the world. So, you know, I stopped working when I was 25. Life is great, you know, life is what we make it. You know, we have choices to make. You know, I had a choice, you know, as far as the prison thing, you know what I mean? I had a choice. I made the wrong choice, you know? That's what life, honestly, truly, is that the music wrapping me up? No, just...
No, we got some time.
No, I'm just saying. No, but I've had a great life, you know. Like I said, I've had bumps in the road. I've had hard times, just like everyone. And I'm telling you guys this because I'm just like you are. I'm no different. You know, I walked in the same shoes, and I wake up every day and I try to keep moving forward. You know, and I try to help the next guy, you know, become something. You know, my mother taught me it doesn't cost you anything to be nice to people. You know, I smile every day. No matter what situation I'm in, I'm smiling, man. You know, so, you know, every day for me, you know, is a good day, seriously.
Well, they're gonna convince you to do anything. Actually, if you would, you know, mind doing it, you know, I've always, you know, been asked if I want to do something, you know, but in wrestling, you know, you gotta be willing to go out and go the extra mile, no matter what it is.
You know, you gotta be Johnny on the spot. You know, you gotta know every day is a test. You know, because they might be just testing you, seeing, you know, how you're gonna react to it. But for me, with the grocery store thing, you know, it's business. It's protocol. It's, you know, to go out and, you know, create, have as much fun as we possibly can, and make this the best that we possibly. Out of all the Hall of Fame, you know, matches that I've had, you know, all of the great matches. You know, people remember Booker T and Steve Austin in the grocery store more than all of them. You know, people remember Goldust and Booker T more than all of them, because it was about the entertainment for you guys. It was about going out there and not thinking about myself for 1 second and giving you guys the ultimate thrill ride. People ask me, do I remember certain things? And I don't, because the memory wasn't for me, it was for you. You know, so me and Steve Austin, they gave us the script. You know, today it would take, you know, 10 cameras, lighting, and an 8-hour shoot to get that done. They told us, guys, this is what we got. Ready, action. And boom, we tore that place up, and Vince McMahon wrote him a check after we got done with it. So, and were we thinking about how much the check was gonna be? No, that wasn't, you know, our thought process. We didn't need to think about that. Our job was to go out there and give you guys a memory, a great memory that will last through the history and annals of time. And I think that's what I'll be remembered for throughout my career more than anything, because, you know, I've had a lot of great matches, but I think people smiled a lot, you know, when they watched Booker T out there performing. You know, they always knew they was gonna get, you know, a good show. No matter what it was, they always knew they was gonna get 100% every time they saw Booker T. And, you know, I can only thank him for, you know, watching. I can only thank you for being a part of 28 years. I don't watch. Let me get another question. You know what my thing is, man? My job is not to watch the NXT. I got reality wrestling to think about. I got Rick Andrews to think about. I got Gino to think about. I got JJ Blake, Terrell Tippo. You know what I mean? I got Van Harrison. I got all. Hey, check out your reality of wrestling, guys. Down on my TV.
These guys will be in NXT soon enough. I'm gonna watch it.
Brother Williams, that's another one of my prodigies. He's another one of my students. The Shogun of the Road, the great black otaku. You know, he's a guy that's gonna come up. He's gonna have to, you know, take his bumps and bruises. He's got to learn the system, as well as he's a guy that came from professional football, played for the Texans, played for the Patriots, as well as now he's in professional wrestling. He's a very, very humble young man, and he's a very likable guy. So I always tell him, man, you know, keep the latter part. You know, if they like you could just be good at what you do and you'll make it. You could be great. You could be extraordinary. You could be extraordinary at what you do. If people don't like you, trust me, you will not stick around very long at all, guys. That's the moral of that story.
Well said. I got one quick, selfish question for you. You'll be at WWE Extreme Rules tomorrow night, Pittsburgh, right? Okay. Will you please give Becky Lynch my phone number? There we go. Yes. Guys, I'm Chris Metry, PWP Live. We've been running events in the Omaha area for 13 years. We're just across the hall in the X Hall. We got wrestling matches coming at you at 3 o'clock, then again at 5:15. Please, if you haven't seen Hunter Booker's channel, he's here for the rest of the day. Wrestling superstar, author, trainer, podcaster, promoter, WWE Hall of Famer, ladies